Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. Really glad you could join me today out here in the vegetable garden. It's a beautiful day here. We're approaching the end of August. This summer's really flying by. But the garden's it's been a good harvest this year from my garden. But anyhow, today I wanted to share with you some tips and ideas on how you can freeze your tomatoes. So thanks for joining me today. So I'm outside here in the garden alongside my cattle panel trellis that I constructed earlier in the springtime. And I have two of my sun gold cherry tomato plants growing up this trellis. And I would always encourage you to think about installing one of these cattle panel trellises in your garden. They're only $22 to buy plus the cost of some fence T-posts, but they're really great for growing your tomatoes up, or cucumbers, or melons, or anything, beans you could grow up. But anyhow, I have this area here where I grew my sun gold cherry tomatoes up. I have another trellis also, and then a couple other areas where I grew my sun gold cherry tomatoes. So I have like two here, one over there, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 or 6 plants growing of my sun gold cherry tomatoes. So I really have a lot of cherry tomatoes starting to ripen, this time of year. And so what do you do with all these extra tomatoes? Especially sometimes if you're ready to go on vacation and you have an abundance or an overload of these tomatoes, Well, the one thing I've learned is that you can freeze these tomatoes, and you're just pick them right off the vine and then put them in your freezer. And I just use these hefty gallon freezer bags. We also do our green bell peppers that same way. We just dice them up and put them in the freezer bag and put them in the freezer. The last time I spend all summer dicing my peppers, and so far I think I have about 15 pounds of diced peppers that we use in our beans and all. But anyhow, you can do the same thing with these cherry tomatoes or any tomato from your garden. And what's nice about these is you put these in the freezer, and you can just pick them out of the freezer bag and pluck them in your mouth just like an ice cube, and they're really even tasty that way. And sure, you could use them in your salads, or some people even juice them, but again, to freeze them is really something easy and quick to do. I just thought I would take a closer look at these tomatoes, and you can see how they're all starting to ripen, and I just need to be able to do something with these in a hurry. So I really don't want them to go to waste. But they are something really easy to grow in your garden, and let me encourage you to think about growing some of these sun gold cherry tomatoes in your garden. And so anyhow, I hope this video was able to give you some tips and ideas on what to do with all those extra tomatoes in your garden. So anyhow, I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.